Good afternoon, everyone. This is the picture I woke up to this morning. Beautiful, huh? It was our first snow. And I just have a message of the day and a twin flame read for you today that's on the table. So we're going to get right into it. Let's go ahead and take a deep breath first while we're waiting here. And so this first read is going to be the message of the day, which is this read here. And those decks that I use there is the Animal Spirit deck, the LENORMAND Reverie, the Gilded, and the KIPPER decks. And then here is an extended portion of that, the last part. Just so you know the order, this is the underlying energy here, then it's this pile, this, and then this is last here. Well, the other one is last actually, but okay. And then the read in front of you on the table is here with the SIRIAN STARSEED deck. That's the basic read. And then we have the full read on the table there. And that's this one here. Okay, so that's the full read with 7 decks. It's a lot of information. It's for all the twins and all the general energies. So if something doesn't resonate, don't force it to fit. We're going to roll the die as well. So take that deep breath. Feels good. Sending lots of blessings out to you guys, and thank you so much for joining me. It's beautiful and sunny out, and it's snow covered today, but not too bad. All the streets are cleared already. And today is the 7th of January. The 7 is the Chariot, and the day adds up to 14, which is the Temperance card, which is also a 5. So the Temperance card is also all about patience and balance, and the Chariot is all about big movement, right? Moving, visiting, traveling, transcending, ascending, all of that very powerful movement energy. Let's roll the die and see what comes up for the twin flames today. For the twin flames, January 7th, 2022. Okay, we have Libra here. We also have the South Node again, which is in Scorpio. And that was definitely coming up in that message of the day today. And I'm already starting to trip up on my words. I don't know when Mercury goes retrograde, but I'm Virgo. So, and then we have the number 2 of the High Priestess. So let's see, Libra, Scorpio, and High Priestess, which is for me, it's Pisces energy. But it's also the month of February, which is Aquarius going into Pisces. And then Libra and Scorpio. And Libra and Scorpio are back to back. So it could be a lot of people who have Scorpio and Libra in their chart. And again, the Aquarius is coming up with Pisces. And there's been a lot of Scorpio and Aquarius combinations coming up of people dealing with each other. And so that might be the case as well with Pisces and Libra. So let's see how that plays out. Okay, the message of the day was done at 10:46, which is the Wheel of Fortune, and the 46 of the children loving each other, the 6 of Cups, hugging each other, that past life memories, nostalgic, thinking of your children, or just a really amazing relationship that you had when you were a child, or that amazing relationship between your inner child and another person and their inner child, that very innocent, pure love. The message of the day started with the underlying energy of the fox, the flowers, which are tulips in this card, the Ace of Pentacles, and distant horizons. So the fox with a gift, which was funny because I was just talking to my daughter who had just received a gift. The fox with a gift, with an offer of time, or perhaps an offer of time, money, or effort, but nothing grounded, right? So kind of that pie in the sky type of energy, and the weight of the world. The electric activated stingray here plugged into the lizard, or charging the lizard while the hawk clears the way for them. Or Saint Liz was coming up, or Stinger of Liz, or Sly Hawk, defending the lizard to the Black Panther's attack, defending the raccoon and the fox. So it looks like there's 2 sides here. The raccoon is sad or upset about something in the dark. You know, they're having trouble clearing. They may be depressed, but they're also, the raccoon, they have a mask on. And then we have the fox on that side as well, who's fine, but it looks like they're standing on the side with the raccoon, and the Black Panther's defending them, while the hawk is clearing the way for the lizard. So we then have the lizard, or here where the lizard never was plugged in or never checked in, never punched in, as the hawk was clearing the dark energies, or they were clearing the snow so that they could get in. As the panther attacked the hawk, who was defending or protecting, the panther's defending or protecting the raccoon, or the panther is the sad raccoon, snapping out, showing their true colors, or sad about the fox. The fish, lizards, and birds versus the animal kingdom. It's kind of like water and air or emotional verbiage versus land and fire, which is very grounded aggression. At work, the spiritual union of maturity and peace, and the power lady with a gift or their gifts, looking out for a letter or mail that will inspire them to go on the magic adventure to the hermit. Perhaps someone's delivering flowers to the hermit, or the hermit's delivering flowers to somebody else. Or this could definitely be FTD florist coming up as well, or a delivery. Or she is expecting a package or delivery. Home hermiting, especially if you have snow like I do, and or the fox with flowers or a gift at 11:09, which is justice and the hermit again. And that could be Libra and Virgo as well. And the fox in this deck is a very loyal energy in a one-on-one relationship here. And then the Two of Cups comes up in this intense connect, dropping a dime perhaps, or a little bit of money, or letting go to fix things or repair something or make amends with someone, but willing to put out that time, money, or effort, even if it might just be a little bit, putting in that effort with energy exchange or the arrows of love, perhaps Secret Santa implementing a plan, or embarrassing themselves or embarrassed so they're not sharing an offer of a new life that they really want to offer to a romantic little girl at the workplace, or the Queen of Cups, who definitely could be Pisces here, inspired by great fortune, justice, and alignment with sudden wealth, which came up at 11:11. Where's that alignment? And the 777 of the jackpot, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. So not sure if the intentions of this person coming at the Queen of Cups are true, but there is a Two of Cups intense connection. So that's upright. That's true. An energetic exchange, and they're embarrassed. So it's like they're holding back, because there are feelings there for sure. Wanting to offer them something, but perhaps they're too embarrassed to do that. But they're really into this Queen of Cups who's inspired. She's either inspired by great fortune and he likes that in her, or he's inspired by her great fortune with justice and alignment with sudden wealth and that jackpot, or just that energy of sudden wealth or abundance. Maybe he or she feels like her energy's that way, and that was at 11:11. So Atlas with the weight of the world, with big ideas, but nothing grounded or anchored in, perhaps as yet anyway. The first section here is the wolf, the bear, and the hyena. The wolf is stunned or caught, like the deer in the headlights, that the bear defended them perhaps to the hyena and told them to move along now. This could literally be, the hyena might have gotten let go or told to go home. The wolf, Knight of Wands, with the ring and the commitment, is tempted by the Holy Grail, with a completed room or home or empty nest and coming full circle. And here we have the brown bear and the polar bear together. And the polar bear is the shadow side, or the sun and the snow coming out together, or two polar opposites, with an announcement to make at 11:17, which is justice and the star. Ground control to Major Tom, a message delivered, the chariot, the vehicle of infiltration, or paying bills, or making a very important call or judgment call, or a wake-up call, where the hyena, King of Cups, with a time crunch, was sent on their way or sent home, or never punched in, as the King of Cups and the Page of Pentacles reversed perhaps missed their chance or opportunity to show themselves as a higher love when another expressed a message of concern. Perhaps they weren't in a great place and they didn't show their higher self. They showed that panther type energy of snapping out. That definitely came up today. So, and then when I came back here at 11:23, the sun really brightened up and I was getting bright in place. And then my birthday was coming up. 11:23 is justice or alignment and the 23 of the King of Wands. And then I came back at 11:44, which is justice and the 4 of Cups, the grounding, integrating, and mastering of love. It can be boredom and apathy as well. And it can be Atlas energy, the 44. But tempted to call, wake up, or call out the Page of Pentacles reversed in no reply. The numbers 21, 7, and 14 were coming up. We're all about 7 days a week, right? Perhaps a week went by with no reply, and so perhaps someone reached out. Now there's 3 next sections here, and you can read them separately, but then after I did the 3 sections, I realized that the first 3 characters from the first section were kind of being gone into more detail about in the next 3 sections. So the first section was the wolf, the bear, and the hyena. And it feels like the second section was about the wolf, and the third about the bear, and the fourth about the hyena. So if you want to look at it that way, you can, or you can just look at this as a separate energy coming up. So this second section here was the bunny or the rabbit and the horse. And the bunny here is, they're the scaredest in the deck, right? Because they're scared of everything. And the horse is Mr. Ed. That's the God energy. They're not. So it's a huge polarity right there. The rabbit's afraid to be free or to stand up for themselves and drop off the key, or leave at night to go to the big house, or just afraid to go out at night. Or the rabbit got out of the cage at night and is somewhere in the house, but they don't know where, or scared to open their heart to cancer or romance, or scared to be judged or end up in the big house at 11:49, which is justice, and the 9 of Cups, which is that emotional fulfillment of getting your wish or being happy with oneself. The horse or Mr. Ed here with 2 doors on the fool's journey to set them free. At night, they may be down on their knees praying the dark birds go away. The mature worldly man with a house to themselves or trying to get the last child to leave. And there's Aries, Saggy, Cancer, Aquarius, and Taurus in this section. Or somebody's in jail and afraid to go home and face the music. Meanwhile, there may be a parent who's just praying that they're all right, but of course the kid's going to be scared, that they're going to get in trouble. So then we have the bear with the 3rd section here, or not, just the 3rd section with the starfish and the sea serpent. The starfish with wise counsel about a home or leaving home. The King of Cups boy, or their inner child, is released on bond or left home after receiving or reviewing with wise birds or counsel. The sea serpent with the seal broken or a break-in of the 2 of Cups with direction towards the lamb who's a target of justice or home or union, or Pisces and Libra occupation, or occupied by a lot of back and forth in a very busy energy, or perhaps at work, or occupied by the energetic exchange or arrows of love. And again, here's the Libra-Pisces combination coming up, and that came up with the dice. Or the King of Cups, Pisces and Libra are feeling badly, and that could be one person with Libra and Pisces in their chart as well, maybe feeling badly that they snapped. And then the 4th section, perhaps the hyena, was coming up as the lamb and the gazelle, which is very sweet and graceful energy, but the innocent target and always polite. The lamb, Dr. Jackal and Mr. Hyde. The Emperor reversed with the lady in waiting doesn't sound like the lamb and the gazelle. Number 28, which can be that twin flame energy or the choice of path. The gazelle lucky charms may be dumping on the hermit who's overwhelmed with the changes. And it was like the gazelle was caught off guard and in a bad mood perhaps and snapped, but the one who got snapped at was expecting the changes, and she's not as ungrounded as the other. So someone who would normally be very graceful and charming was showing their Dr. Jackal side of themselves. And it's not Dr. Jekyll in this deck, it's Dr. Jackal. So the wolf is polarized at 12:01, which is the Hanging Man and the Magician. The wolf is polarized and shocked, perhaps at themselves, for being a lovable bear, hibernating one minute, and then snotty and short hyena the next, perhaps seeing the duality in themselves, their man and their little boy, and the woman that doesn't deserve it. And the fifth section here is the fire ants, the phoenix, and the octopus. The wound, the crucifixion, and the phoenix rising, and the octopus teacher who dies after giving birth, but also can grow back a limb. The head or main frame and all their departments, or the tentacles or extensions of them, kind of like God, right? And they're all of their parts of themselves, or all of their souls and humans and other beings from other planets. The Creator and all their parts, being referenced to Jesus on the cross and their death and rising. The wound about drawing everyone from near and far to come and see the wound, the accident, the star, whatever it is that's drawing your attention. To everyone coming from far and wide to see the event at 12:07, the hanging man and the chariot, coming together in the labyrinth towards the prize at the center, the monkey or monk key in the middle, the hermit reversed coming out with a gift or gifts, a dream come true, the rolling stone all wrapped up, remember the rolling stone becomes the gift when you put them all together, the EM3W. When you put them all together, it becomes a gift wrapped up, and then you put the AE, or the ash, on top, which is the bow, or the bright light, the icing on top. So the rolling stone all wrapped up and gifted to you. So there literally, somebody could be doing this to someone too, bringing them that gift. So the hermit reverse coming out with a gift or their gifts, a dream come true with the rolling stone all wrapped up and gifted to you, with AE or ash, bright light from the Pleiades, on top, with all for one and one for all, the icing on top. The phoenix rising to overcome the challenge, the Knight of Cups offering love to the Knight of Pentacles, who may be offering help in return, and the man with concerns of martyring themselves. With octopus with their feelers out to expand in the sun, the Knight of Pentacles imprisoned by their gift or gifts, or gift released their concerns. The crucifixion, the rising, and then in the dark, as the head with many connections who can think for themselves. The wound and crucifixion, being in over-isolation and losing their mind, is the gift. And then rising to overcome any mountain and rise to the occasion and be love. Christ reminding you about the gifts, the healing, the dreams, and martyrdom. That completion is the rising above and doing it with love, without concern. Don't worry, be happy. Release the mind and let the sun shine. Two reflecting imprisonment, one of isolation and one the imprisonment of work. One needs to get up and come out, and one needs to come in and calm down. So again, it's about people getting stressed out for no reason. Don't worry, be happy. So again, the mainframe, the mind, it's about losing your mind is good. They don't want you in your mind, they want you in your heart. They want you in the present moment. If you're in your mind, you go into the future or the past, which is where you go off balance. So at 12:36 is the hanging man and the 36 of the Atlas energy and the weight of the world, with the hermit reversed, either going out of their mind or coming out, and the Knight of Cups upright and the Knight of Pentacles upright, facing each other, one offering a loving self and the other one offering the humble, loyal servant kind of help. Perhaps one offering a little love for the other one to help them out with something in a practical way. The hanging man with two others who also, don't forget, Jesus was hung out to dry with two others, not just him. And that was coming up too, because when I went online today, there was a famous person's death advertised, as a big news thing. And I automatically think now, well, what is it? Why is that person's death more important than any other person who dies? They always make a big deal about famous people and their deaths, but you know what? People die every day. Everyone is important. And that's why this is coming up here too, that Jesus wanted you, this is Christ confirming that message, that he was hanging out to dry, but there was also maybe they were thieves, but there were also two men hanging with them. And remember, the thieves may have been thieves, but they certainly didn't deserve to be nailed to a cross. So the 6 here is the 6th section of the tarantula, the dolphin, and the cosmic egg. At 1241, which is the hanging man, and the Ace of Cups of spiritual love, new love, self-love, and a choice to make with happy-go-lucky dolphin in that very high vibe, compassionate energy, and the cosmic egg, which is the crown chakra. The tarantula is aligning to cracking the whip of truth and balance over indulging the main female. The dolphin power male with a choice of path to, or a path to clear in the never-ending story of being the main male and that responsibility of being the main male. And the cosmic egg of the crown, right? The crown, the Christ energy, the crowned main male. The collective awakening, it shouldn't be all his responsibility, right? You all take responsibility for your own soul, for your own connection to God. The cosmic egg, the collective awakening, and the King of Wands perhaps being a pest, or a mouse, or rugrat, or making a mess, and suddenly, a sudden event or epiphany, and perhaps the case is closed. So again, it's that energy of, the person that you just snapped at, like your child or someone you're just being mean to, can be gone in an instant. So to remember that next time you're not being patient with someone. So they're saying, the one who's being a pest, or, your husband's messing up the kitchen, or the kids are, or there's a mouse, and the mouse is very sweet, but maybe you're scared of mice, and so why are you, right? They're just sweet little animals who are hungry too. And then suddenly is a sudden event or an epiphany about this, and the case is suddenly closed, or is suddenly exposed, or suddenly someone's dead, or the main female and the main male, or Libra Pisces, or divine feminine and Scorpio main male, and the divine feminine refusing to be manipulated or dumped on by the divine masculine using their charms, as the collective makes a mess with the King of Wands unbalanced as a general energy in a sudden death, ending closure, or wrapping things up, or the divine feminine and divine masculine are suddenly at a funeral. So again, it's giving you a sudden new perspective on something that because you were so much in your head worried about something. Don't worry, be happy that you snapped at somebody instead of being love. The death of it's coming up as suddenly at a funeral. The death of the collective ego. The third party, bad influences, overindulgences or overindulgers, and antisocial behavior and gossip, taking forever to end, and then boom, the Tower comes in with the High Priestess and the Magician, the 1 and the 2, exposed by the King of Wands reversed, again the death of the collective ego, and Scorpio, which is in the South Node, being let go. The ego of Scorpio, and that's funny too because my son kind of snapped at me when I called him today, and he's Scorpio. So the Justice of Libra, or alignment of 28, or the twins, and the paths, and the King of Wands, or that third energy, or thought everything was all wrapped up, right? So just when you expect it to be done, and then sudden work or school closure, and then you're stuck at home with the rugrats or pets making a mess, when someone was expecting to have time for a change to be alone. So it, right, that can trigger you at 104, which is the Magician and the 4. But it's saying to keep that mind frame of compassion, that you never know what tomorrow is going to bring. And know that there's a reason for you now being stuck home with the kids or the pet or the mess. There's a reason for that. That's a blessing actually, but you're not seeing it yet. Remember that the universe has your back, and if you would just get out of the way, the universe can help you out. Needing to put an end to that, and that mess, or the rugrats, or the man in the kitchen making a mess. And then the 7th section here, by the way, that was at 104, the Magician and the Emperor. The 7th section is where everybody else here who comes up in the read, they're all watching this whole mess to see what's going to happen next. It's like a cliffhanger type of thing. The vulture is waiting for slim pickings, the turtle is slow, and the cheetah is ready to pounce, all waiting for the truth to be known. The whale is exhausted, and the owl's in the dark, but upon closer look, the dragon's awakened within. The wise owl is keeping an eye on things, and the vulture wounded warrior with slim pickings may be unhappy and with sudden thoughts of a woman. So it's really not about the pickings at all. And Spirit's connecting with me there. The Turtle Page of Wands is inspired to crack codes, or perhaps inspired to crack a safe, but maybe slow getting back on the horse, perhaps with addictions, under the radar with bad health, or conflicts in healthcare or finances at 109, which is the Magician and the Hermit. And then at 110, which is the Wheel of Fortune and a turn for the better, the cheetah-loving man with one last rose in a losing battle in a courtship, or courtship of Eddie's father, right? And Mr. Ed is God, so that's the godfather. The truth of the purple moon, the hue of when the dark meets the light is that purple, and a lover's breakthrough is now made when the sun comes out from behind the clouds, and the Knight of Wands appears out of nowhere with a mask, or the man and the woman in the tango of love, the dance of relationship, the old whale perhaps needing a lifeline, grounding and integrating and mastering an offer of love perhaps, or perhaps the need to go to the gym, an Atlas with the weight of the world, and perhaps weightlifting, with a closer look or inspection of spiritual wise lady, or just so tired of a divorce with false lady, of privilege, or Sag upright and Taurus reversed, or two stepsisters, and to catch a thief. Perhaps they're just so tired of having to watch people acting like children at work or petty thieves, and why should they have to do that? They should know how to act like grown-ups. And then at 117 is the Magician and the Star, with the owl, the wise owl, with one eye on the Knight of Cups, perhaps a gambler, or the sister, or someone suffering in silence with wise owl at their beck and call. And then the Queen of Wands, a thief, or out with one, or being entertained by one, with a pickpocket perhaps, and the dragon a closer eye on the public meets or decision or nature or the yard to see what needs fixing so that they can attack when they're ready. The juggler with their eye on the prize, on the high vibrational journey, perhaps a son now seeing himself exactly like his old man, and perhaps maybe, I don't know if they're happy about that or pleased with that, top hat and all, or catching the next train for the coast after scamming them all. This can also be a family of scammers or gypsies, tramps, and thieves, as Cher would say at 123 jump. The Wounded Warrior, the Page of Wands, the Twin Flame family or Lover's family, the in-laws, with Atlas and the Knight of Cups and a wake-up call or public judgment. With bad influences and Scorpio both upright and reversed, or the death and rebirth, which is Scorpio is about profound transformation. Bad influences, Scorpio both upright and reversed, and a death or rebirth of the main female and the main male. Perhaps dissatisfied with self, or feeling like a failure, or arrogantly requiring attention in a losing battle with the Knight of Wands, rushing in to save the marriage, religion, business, or willing to suffer in silence as long as he keeps it up and keeps working, bringing the money in, or the status for her. And the man with thoughts of a woman, caring for them. It's the man with thoughts of a woman where he's like imagining a woman caring for them when they're in bad health, and perhaps can't imagine their current partner ever wanting to take care of them when they're in bad health because they're never satisfied with them as it is. And then imagining them being slow to take orders, or that they would ever bring them any good news. And then the cheetah loving man, apparently too loving if he's the cheetah, courting two or perhaps three or four. And the truth of the Knight of Wands with the false or masked person, or is the false or masked person, playing the privileged lady while hanging out with thieves, or the traveling salesman, or the old lady who's always tired, the Knight of Cups gambler, always feeling sorry for themselves, and the juggler, traveling one, always in public with their eye on everyone at 134, which is the Magician of the 34, of that energetic exchange and the arrows of love. And then the Six of Cups, that last section comes up here with nostalgia, looking back at the past, at fond memories, or a loving soulmate, a loving child, or your children being loving to each other. As the moth is attracted to the flame, so I'm think, you know, it's giving me that energy of Aries, right? Where you jump first and think later. It's seeing the moth. They know the moth will go to the flames, so they know they have time while they're being distracted by that to go do whatever they want. So it's like that nostalgia of this loving energy of the two children hugging each other or being loving to each other as the moth is attracted to the flame with flights of fancy, but a clear path this time, with the Six of Cups soulmates or loving kids, and inspired by unexpected income or unexpected incoming. While the moth is occupied with the flame, the shark may attack the dear one in the golden nest egg, so watch out. While traveling, or the Empress on a journey of romance, and the shark pinpointing just when to detox, as or with wealthy man in transition, with a family nest egg, or dear one with issues at work in a journey of despair, or the journey of the pair, and the child in transition finding peace away from the King of Wands, and the legalities perhaps around the Empress and the marriage, and moving towards their sovereign or their own sovereignty with the Knight of Cups community perhaps, and a secret passion and marriage of abundance, or Pisces reversed and Taurus, or the Knight of Cups coming together with the Queen of Swords to end the wounded warrior's path in order to allow the bliss to come in, or being officially on the fool's journey of the Knight of Wands of high honor, with loving mature woman, perhaps divorcing and or proposing to shadow lover in court, adjudication, or in union and marriage at 146, again, the Magician and the Six of Cups of the two children hugging each other. So be careful. It feels like people are targeting people, especially if they're desperate right now. They might be watching homes to see who needs help or when people are home or not home to break in. And this is not to put you in fear, but this never comes up in my read. So I want you to just be aware. This may be somebody that you know. Could be somebody who just worked on your house. So be careful about that. Be careful of what you say in public about telling people where you are. And also this could reference your children as well, to teach them about those things, to not, give information like that out to people who may not be trustworthy because you don't know them. But also has to do with, leaving the wounded warrior path behind. And the wounded warrior pathway is someone who doesn't trust, someone who's paranoid, someone who thinks people are out to get them. And when you are in that energy, you pull in that energy. But if you raise your vibration in that blissful energy of happiness and staying in the present moment, you don't attract that energy. So you might want to be conscious of, when you're in that vibration that you want to be in and what comes into your life. And when you're not and you fall a little bit, what comes into your life. Be very conscious to that so you learn. And teach your children about that as well, right? So someone who's always wanting to be the victim, or they did it to me, they're going to keep pulling in that energy of them doing it to you. Instead of you just taking responsibility for your own happiness, and it's not saying they weren't wrong in doing things to you, but forgiveness is about allowing yourself to be freed, to allow yourself happiness, even if there are difficult circumstances around you. It's allowing yourself to be happy in the moment, that you don't owe anyone guilt or shame or to be, like families expect certain people to grieve for a certain amount of time before you're allowed off the hook. That's BS. What does your own guidance tell you? You're going to grieve, obviously, but you do it in your own timing. And that doesn't mean anyone has to show sadness. If they're not feeling sad, why not be happy in that moment? I remember when I was young, actually, I was probably a teenager at the time. Yeah, I was. It was one of my grandparents' funerals. And I just remember looking at my sister and how beautiful she looked as she was tearing up about my grandparent. But I was just feeling the beauty in that moment of how beautiful she looked when she was being completely, authentic to her feelings. There's so much beauty in sadness, but also in the beauty of the happiness and recognizing the beauty. So let's go into the read that's on the table now. And this was done at 9:55 last night. The 9 of the Hermit, the 55 of the Truth, the Ace of Swords. And I'd watched Girl Interrupted last night, which is an older movie. And that's about girls in, you know, in a home for mental issues. And yeah, so a lot of those kind of energies are going to come up in this read, because the energies usually of the movie I'm watching have to do with the energies that are coming up in the read, and that's why Spirit's guiding me to watch certain things. So I have the SIRIAN Starseed deck was cut and dealt at 9:55, the Hermit and the Truth, or Excalibur. And at 10:07, a lot of 07s were coming up today. Actually, 717's been coming up a lot this past week. And then 10:07 is the Wheel of Fortune and the Chariot, and Alchemy came up. Instead of Alchemy, though, just Alchemy was coming up. So the Elk and the Emmys, I don't know when the Emmys are, but Elk and the enemies coming up as well as the name Emmy. So Elk and Emmy, or M-Y in the road. So E-M is M like Imana, which is the word for the Pleiadian god, which they refer to as she. And then we have the Y of the Y in the road, which is the top of the pyramid, the 0 point energy, where all points come together. So M-E-E-M-Y is coming up like that source energy, right? Where all roads lead back to 0. And the Elk is coming up in the animal spirit deck. The Elk is the hothead, but he's normally an amazing person. But if you don't feed him right, he tends to snap or get arrogant. So again, knowing what your triggers are, and perhaps controlling your thoughts when you are in those situations you know aren't your best place to be. And I finished clarifying at 10:22 here, which is the Wheel of Fortune, and the 22 of the Fool and the Fool's Journey. The major arcana here on the table, I'm going to turn the light on for you too. I don't know if you can see the snow out there at all through my window. Let me clarify. See, can you see the woods where I just highlighted? You see the snow on the ground? So the major arcana here, we have transition. There's a lot of Scorpio coming up. And again, Scorpio in the South Node came up with the die as well. And then we have Libra is about the 2, because it's 11, which is a 2. And then we have the 2 as well. So a lot of feminine energy of justice. And by the way, the Queen of Cups is also 38, which is an 11 too. So all those energies are being activated. Whenever you have a power number, it activates all the other power numbers. So in the numerology book, The Divine Triangle, whenever 11, 22, 33, or 44 comes up, it activates all the power numbers, which in the book mean they require twice as much from you, but you receive twice as much in return. And one of them is at 11 of alignment, and it's also the visionary. So we have the transition card of death, the transformation, the dark night, the endings, and the guidance card, which is the Hierophant. Alchemy, which is the temperance card of patience and balance. And then after the read, the Lovers, the Shadow, which is the devil, and Reason, which is the Emperor, came up. We had 3 pentacles, 3 wands, 1 cup, and 1 sword. So we have 33 and 11 here again with double numbers. I just talked to you about the power numbers. And 33 is the Christ vibration, 11 is the visionary, the alignment. And 33 is also standing up for oneself, of the 7 of wands without getting defensive or snapping. And the 11 is justice, of truth and balance. And then the King of Cups is the only court card in the main part of the read. The Page of Pentacles and the Queen of Swords came up before the read, but that was it. And we had 4 ones in this read. All 4 aces are in this read. And we have 3 tens. It's a lot of 1s and 0s there. So it's huge new beginnings here. Along with 5, 6, 7 made in heaven. And the 77 also came up of the sovereignty of the 9 of Pentacles. And this is really pushing towards the 7th dimension, right? So really not just pushing into the 4th and 5th dimension, but into the 6th and 7th as well is coming up here. We have 710 as well, which is 0 backing up the 71 of the 3 of Pentacles, or perhaps the workplace or the school, the place of co-creation. And we also have the 14 of the Temperance card, the Angel, the higher love, the balance, and the 45 of the Five of Cups, which is the purging card. So a lot of you may be purging the collective energies right now, because there's definitely been dark collective energies seeping in, and then trying to close those, seal the gaps up again after the dark breaks in. So the 14 of the Temperance card, the 45, and then also 17, which is the Star. The code line was all about rebirth, which the re was separated from birth. That remembering that birth and rebirth are two different things. And then the code line was all about the number 13, which is again death and transformation, coming from 6 and 7, which is the Lovers and the Chariot, right? The Lovers ascending together in the Chariot, the feminine within the masculine. But it's also the 67 of the Knight of Pentacles, which is that loyal, humble servant. And then the transition or transformation, the ending or death here of the loyal, humble servant. And the rebirth. So again, a lot about the crucifixion and the rebirth of Easter coming up is coming up again. And this year around Easter, it always starts coming up. So the code line here is a sudden event or time out of one of two lovers. And here it was coming up as pairs of things. So a sudden event or time out is coming up as a pair, and then one of two, which is a pair, and then lovers, which is a pair, and then the Christ God, which is a pair, and then the alternating currents, which is a pair, of the transition of the Chariot, which is a pair, right? The feminine within the masculine, riding in the Chariot, and in alternating currents, again, a pair. And the energy of being torn at this time, in this place, legitimacy, oak and the oaken ship, the runic character coming up, as well as hunger, the needle, and also medicines you take before meals or prayer before meals. And again, the air conditioning, the alternating currents, the account, the acre, the alicyclic. And so before meals, time out here, right? To become one with your food before you eat it, to rise the vibration or raise the vibration, okay, of the animals that sacrificed their life for you if you're eating an animal product, to send that energy love, so that it becomes one with you. Like taking the sword from the stone, you can't pull it out of the stone. You have to merge and melt with it in order for it to just come out naturally. Saying prayers before meals, it doesn't have to have a religious connotation. It has to do with becoming one with your food. Sending love to your food, like you would send love to yourself. In transition. The Chariot, the vehicle of infiltration of your love into your water and your food, before meals, in rebirth. A set, again, things in twos. A set, one of two, the lovers, the Christ and God. The alternating currents, the transition of ascension or rising after death, and the legitimate character of rebirth. Of proving your purity of authenticity, basically, is what's coming up there as well. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. But it's just the rebirthing was, because humans are so skeptical, they don't believe in anything unless they see it. And trying to show the legitimacy of someone's character in rebirth, that people can change by just becoming their authentic self. And the change really has to do with ego death, not with changing their personalities, letting go of what's not really them, not letting go of what's not love. So we start this readout with the Five of Pentacles reversed, which is the Five of Pentacles, the Mary Magdalene cave in this deck. And beneath that is the Ace of Pentacles reversed, the Page of Pentacles upright, the Four of Swords reversed, the Ten of Cups reversed, and the Queen of Swords. So saving, withholding, or playing hardball, and that can just be playing sports as well, The Page of Pentacles may be a good student, or it could be an opportunity or invitation to rise above or learn, right? Or awaken and come out. And this is the perfect example here, because the Page of Pentacles in the Tarot of Sexual Magic is very much about the child who either, hurts themselves. They drink, or they allow men to abuse them, or they cut themselves because they're trying to be perfect. And Page of Pentacles is that perfect straight A student who looks perfect on the outside because that's the way they're expected to look, except on the inside they're a mess. And thus, girl interrupted. And Spirit, and it's making me want to cry. Spirit's connecting with me here. So the Page of Pentacles, the good student, right? That perfect student, or that opportunity or invitation to pull you into a situation to help you rise above it, right? This is about transcendence, to be something until you transcend it, and then you go on to the next. So just because you believe something right now doesn't mean that's what you're going to believe tomorrow. We go into a situation to become one with it and then transcend it because we now know something different. So don't worry about where you are in your journey, because everybody is taking their different paths, and everyone's learning different things at different times. So somebody else might have learned something that you didn't learn already, but you may have already learned stuff they haven't learned yet. So don't compare yourself to anyone either. So again, the Page of Pentacles, going into a situation, something they didn't expect, in order to rise above, to become more into their authentic self, to awaken and come out, to ground the union and end the emotional cycle that's so overdone, with the Queen of Swords upright, recovering from exile, and that's that Mary Magdalene energy of the hermit and exile from the group. Whether it's exile, injury, illness, or destitution, whatever it is, feeling apart from the others, or the Page of Pentacles awake and making family all unhappy because of their awakening, or just maybe they're making noise at night, keeping the others awake. And the Queen of Swords is upright, helping them to recover, but not humored or frustrated, not aroused, unable to understand, trying to end the nightmare to start over, as the Page of Cups, or an offer of love or a loving child or message in connection of one-to-one with one in their knowing, and yet keeping it to themselves. And so the Page of Cups would say, like, why would someone keep that to themselves? Because they're very out there with their heart, right? Very loving and sweet and innocent. At 1144 here, with justice, and again, the grounding, integrating, and mastering of love and receiving love. Why the Page of Cups, wondering why this other person would keep love to themselves. Perhaps someone in rehab, teens, and those who profess to know, right? Like the people who would take care of you in an institution, professing to know you better than you know yourself. And I'm losing my voice, right? The lie that somebody else could ever know you as well as you know yourself, or know your guidance. At 1158, which is the justice of the Four of Swords, of being at rest or being laid to rest, being institutionalized, literally. But the Four of Swords is also the connection in the 5D of the twins, right? Losing your mind. Literally losing your mind on purpose, because they don't want you in your mind, they want you in your heart. The unhappy children, the runaways, the bad childhoods, the prisoners of the home and the prisoners of rehab. The Knight of Cups offering love, like the Page of Cups, with a big truth that's not far behind, and doling out medication that they're sharing equally to find peace going forward with temptation. Capricorn, or reaping rewards with the Knight of Wands, who's always rushing in to save the day, right? They get to be the savior, which still perpetuates the victim mentality. Whether you're the perpetrator or the savior, they both continue the victim mentality. It's the victim in the middle who has to shift into no longer blaming others. When the victim shifts and then takes responsibility for all their successes and their failures, or all of their, remember when the victim is with the savior, that's where they're going to feel like a failure, because the savior had to bail them out. And with the perpetrator of being abused, allowing that person to abuse you, or maybe you didn't, right? But you still need to take responsibility so that you can be happy in this now moment, instead of being wounded, allowing that other person to take your power away and own your happiness, right? So again, that's an important visual to remember. The polarity of the savior and the perpetrator can be equally just as bad because they're both keeping the victim in the place of the victim. So again, and this is why Jesus doesn't want to be the savior. You are your own savior. Jesus wants to sit at the table and break bread with you just like anyone else. The temptation you share, and here's they're bringing up the energy of rehab or a mental institution where they dole out the medications equally, right, to keep them all dumbed up and asleep, at peace going forward. But the medications block their brain function, so they can't be their authentic self, and they could cross the blood-brain barrier and affect the pineal gland, right? The Capricorn reaping rewards with the Knight of Wands always rushing in to save the day. And in the movie, that was Angelina Jolie, I can't speak already, where she's the tough one, right, who comes in and always she's the perpetrator and the savior. So she comes in, that's the narcissistic energy, right, where you cause all hell to break loose, and then you come in to put smiles on everyone's face, making light of the situation or getting them to do something fun with you and rescue you from yourself. Rewards, right? Moving your ward into another section. Back in the ward again. The devil, the gardener, and the English patient. Unable to get back to her in time. Dying alone in a cave. Tied to a ring forever. A knocker. Hell's doorway. Taking tickets to see the show. You can check in, but you can never leave. Chained to savings, status, and the process. Step right up and see the show. 40 days and 40 nights, or 80 shifts if you don't sleep at night. The devil is always hovering, no matter how proper you seem. Ready to do it all, to rush after a dream, after doing so well, abiding by their rules of what society means. Capricorn and Sagittarius at 12-12 are hanging out together, in energetic exchange of the rolling stone there with the EE, and defenseless to energies and emotions. By the way, 12-12 is RR, if you put the 1 and 2 together. That's what I was just getting. So railroaded is what I'm getting. The energetic exchange, defenseless to the energies and emotions of being strong with the fallen angel or ex-patient or the nurse fallen angel back to health with the short end of the stick or 6 short ends all coming in at once. And Leo upright and Sagittarius reversed, perhaps worth waiting for, or someone you believe in, even though they don't believe in themselves. At 1, 2, 3, 4, shut the door. So remember in the movie too, it wasn't until, the main character of the movie, it wasn't until she wasn't polite and she finally let her have it, Angelina Jolie, that Angelina Jolie finally made progress in her mental health. Because everyone was always too scared to tell her what they actually thought of her. So it was funny too, because right as I was getting to this point in the movie, they were watching The Wizard of Oz, which kept coming up in my reads this week, but it was coming up in the movie too. And then they were watching it near the end of the movie where Glenda says she had to learn it for herself. And the Scarecrow says, "What have you learned, Dorothy?" And that was at 143, which is the magician and the coming together with the wizard. That's funny, the Wizard of Oz. We're off to see the wizard is 143. So the tower reversed. After a sudden rage in the Tarot of Sexual Magic here, healing brokenness, where the red flag is now down, right? It's where they were hiding the red flag from the others so the bulls wouldn't see the red flag and go nuts. The red flag's already been pulled down. They already went nuts. The bulls split. There is peace and truth put aside so that another can lean on that truth when they're ready. The girl on the ceiling who comes back down to earth. Girl interrupted from killing herself. It's making me cry. The energy is really high there. Trying all different ways to escape their insides, but there's nowhere to go but up and out. Break up, lay down. The truth of a pillar waiting nearby. And again, there's always someone there who's helping you, or the staff, that is authentic and truly wants your best. And you learn to resonate with that person, and perhaps you took it out on them, and then you needed to apologize because you know what a good person they truly are. So break up, lay down. The truth of a pillar who may be waiting nearby for you to fall. Whenever you're ready, they're there and willing to help you. And finally taking that sword to hold her up until she learns to walk again. Telling the others to kiss my ass when called for, and letting all the BS out, which is again the bullshit, purging all of the crap that she ate and took in at 12:59, the moment before 1 a.m. With Scorpio reversed and Cancer reversed, and the Page of Swords taking the lead and getting the hell out of there. With leadership, and below that, individuality, instability, no home, the need to realize you are home all along, but in your heart. You just didn't believe yourself because of all of the stuff you were being fed at 101, the magician and the magician, or that turn for the better. And so the deception and the issues at work, the dumping a load of burdens or responsibilities, and needing to swallow yours or their pride and start over again, allowing yourself to fail, allowing yourself to fall, confessing they choked or made a bad call, and after knowing and keeping to themselves, in a falling out with kids or soulmate at 107, the magician and the chariot, the vehicle of infiltration to get in and help things change. And then at 108, which is the magician and the 8 of the dance, starting over, recovering, with the Knight of Wands upright, losing their temper or patience, with the Page of Swords upright, who's leaning on the truth, or the fallen angel between the Knight of Wands and the Page of Swords, after letting them back in. And the end of karma with leadership, moving, visiting, or ending a marriage, or fixing up the house. Perhaps left for dead with Bambi, only Bambi to the rescue. Maybe that's just what you needed. Or dear one to the rescue. Or another sister, or suffering in silence with the owl at their window. Ending the war with the Empress, with a big ring and chastity belt. Or Glenda the Good Witch on steroids here. With the 10 of Pentacles, family, business, or community. With the Page of Pentacles, remember that 10 of Pentacles could be the family in the Wizard of Oz, of all the munchkins coming together at the end with Glenda. It's that heaven on earth energy of that ultimate family, and that's different for everybody. With the Page of Pentacles, or Child Star, which was Dorothy in the movie, or offering an opportunity of dreams with the Empress upright and the Page of Cups, that message of love, of pregnancy, or someone who's pregnant with a child, and the fallen angel, or losing their patience or temper, and without the tools to find their sunshine and happiness in the downturn. With Aquarius, Taurus, with Child, Sagittarius reversed, and Gemini or Virgo reversed, Leo reversed, and Libra reversed, and the Queen of Pentacles reversed. Awake and ending the war, so that the Fool is free, or perhaps Aries is there, to leap for the Aquarius reversed, or a bad call, holding back an announcement, or someone who didn't call, choosing the path of energy exchange, or those arrows of love, with the Knight of Cups, or the King of Cups reversed, when they have conditions of love. It's like holding space for them when they're ready to come for you. It's like, with children. Some people rush right up to the child, wanting them to love me, love me. But children don't respond to that normally. Usually they need a minute to resonate with you. So, it makes more sense to allow them to come to you when they're ready. So it's that same type of energy with anybody. So when someone's going through a rehab situation, they may be really mean to you and snapping out, right? Because they're going through what they don't understand. So it's not judging them for that, but just saving space for them for when they're ready to come towards you, to be open to being there for them. And here is that energy of the King of Cups with conditions of love, and this can involve the masculine and the divine feminine. So again, the arrows of love here. Choosing the path of energetic exchange, which is part of the wounded warrior's path, with the King of Cups reversed, and conditions of love, or perhaps boundaries they need to make in order to heal. At 125, which is the Magician and the 25 of the Knight of Wands, in the recent past of guidance, the Hierophant, religion establishment, or Taurus recovering to start over, burdened by the wounded warrior, or that victim mentality, and Atlas leaving that wounded warrior behind in a falling out or a negative past, or being over the loss and regret, and the Queen of Wands and the Queen of Cups both reversed, and the Hermit's upright, shedding light on their lack, because they're both reversed right there. And then at 129, with the Magician and the Three of Wands being present in the moment, and the Hermit complete, or Virgo and Pisces in a message of starting over, with the King of Wands, healing and forgiving, separation and heartbreak and disappointment at 131, the Magician and the expansion of the Five of Wands, or that can be a group or a conflict or the pursuit of happiness. And then the foundation here of the King of Cups reversed, feeling trapped or imprisoned post-war. And that can reference PTSD and looting, which is what happens after a war. Dumping emotional attachments and multiple loads, but no longer confused, looking back at the pain, the injury, and the suffering of war, the conditions of love. The central energy here is the Ace of Wands reversed. Perhaps that can be after sex, right? Because the after effects. But it also is the King of Cups reversed here, frustrated with the truth of dumping a load, of purging or crying or sweating it out, and overwhelmed and their buttons pushed, with the Ten of Cups reversed and everything dumped out. An unhappy family or cycle that's just so over and over and over again, failing, attention seeking, and then up juggling and performing again, trying to make it work, showing one hand in high vibration while behaving in a low vibration with the marriage or Taurus, religious leader or establishment leader, and the King of Cups reversed again, either emotionally completely detached or over-emotional, with issues like depression or alcoholism, or conditions of love, deception. And there could be Cancer reversed here. Or perhaps someone who gets up really early, but they're not aroused, they don't find the humor in this, and they're challenged by the dark night, transitioning, the end, the weight of the world weighing heavily on the King of Swords reversed, the one who's in negative self-talk or verbally abusive, presenting the whole truth to the King of Pentacles, who's also reversed, in messaging back and forth, finding peace away from stardom, Aquarius, or dreams come true and healing. At 141, the Magician and the Ace of Cups, working to align, because the Ace of Cups and Ace of Wands are both reversed together here. Working to align with the Page of Wands, who's inspired, no longer putting their ass out there, or no longer putting their ass on the line for others, and sleeping with the enemy, but not close, or apart from the one you love, and yet distance. But even though you're really close, why are you still at a distance? Being strong-armed, or Leo tackling the boar, with big palms and big feet, and the Knight of Swords, Adonis, perhaps can't believe what he sees, or watching women mud wrestling on TV, with the Queen of Cups reversed, with Libra in their chart, and the Knight of Swords, Leo, or Leo and Aquarius with the Knight of Swords, and the Queen of Cups reversed, Libra, under the radar with sexual abuse, with the Emperor reversed and the Queen of Cups reversed, walking away from alignment at work, or the King of Cups reversed, who never stops working, not even to make love. And there's those, that's where you start getting into trouble, where you place conditions on love. And remember, that means loving yourself first. So when someone's abusive to you, you don't love them by continuing to allow them to abuse you. You love yourself first and take yourself out of the situation, but leaving space for that person, knowing that if they heal, that you'd perfectly be willing to receive them again if they put themselves in a different place. At 149, the Magician and the Nine of Cups are being satisfied with oneself. And now crowning in the read is the Ace of Swords upright, the truth, Excalibur. Perhaps the truth of having choked or got scared, not calling, or with issues at work, healing from an ex or lack of affection, and Gemini reversed or a breakup. With the Hermit upright, Sovereign, or starting over in a deception with the Devil, tempting them. With Aquarius reversed, Gemini reversed, and Cancer reversed, and Virgo and Capricorn upright here. At 151 to 52 here is the King and Queen of Swords with the Magician. That the truth is just, and this was coming up from Jesus Christ Superstar, the truth is just a little harder, and this was coming up from the Garden of Gethsemane, when brought about by friends. And that's where he says, for all you know, right, this wine can be my blood, etc. Withholding in a new life for the Fool or Aries to be free, to energy vampire in a twist of fate of walking away or taking a walk, awake to the world, the neighborhood, grounded, sealed divine feminine, or Pisces into reality to hang out and play hardball with liars, cheaters, and thieves, or caught in the woods with their pants down, and the Page of Pentacles hurting themselves, trying to recover from those who have lied, cheated, and stolen from them. The Page of Pentacles perfect student cutting themselves or drinking and being promiscuous. The cheater letting them back in, and they're running away, gaslighting them, breaking them. The Libra upright and reversed. Pisces and Capricorn and Aries all upright but Cancer reversed. And the King of Wands playing judge and jury with people's lives. The Dream Girl, the Divine Feminine, the Pisces, and the Knight of Cups upright, offer of love, surprising the Emperor reversed and the Queen of Cups reversed, leaving the King of Cups reversed, or done trying to reach them. And soon as the Ten of Pentacles, dream family, business, or community of the King of Swords reversed, sharing or settling out with the Empress, after the King of Swords reversed, message the King of Pentacles reversed with the whole truth. And the Empress with the Page of Pentacles, and the Sovereign, perhaps a mother or grandmother with two children here with the Page of Pentacles and the Nine of Pentacles, perhaps spending a little bit on the Queen of Pentacles reversed, or making an effort to fix, repair, or make amends with the Queen of Pentacles reversed, or a mother or older sister, or perhaps just an earth sign person that you hurt. With the Queen of Pentacles reversed, looking back or living in the past with shame and guilt, in a losing battle, or losing their kids to their grandmother, or another woman perhaps, if their partner gets remarried. And then the 206 of the High Priestess and the Lovers, and the Twin Flames, and the Six of Wands reversed under the radar, ending the conflict with the Knight of Wands rushing in, or rushing back, and the Knight of Pentacles moving forward with an offering to their ex, or one lacking affection, or Gemini reversed, or Magician reversed, and perhaps the Knight of Wands breaking up a fight between Virgo and Gemini, who's reversed, coming together with the Queen of Swords and the Knight of Swords, whose Knight of Swords is coming in, perhaps from an advantage point of reaping rewards, or of having someone to fight their battles for them while they daydream, or maybe that's the perception of someone else who sees them. At 211, the High Priestess and the 11 of alignment, of truth and balance, of justice, or the Knight of Wands upright and the Knight of Pentacles upright, making peace over a breakup, but without the tools to deal with the insecurities around this, and come together in a reunion with the Queen of Swords and the Knight of Swords, or hip hip hooray, and the Knight of Swords crossing over to the other side. Around the twins, or how they're seen, is the Ten of Wands. And this was at 213 to 214, which is Valentine's Day, and the night before, of Atlas leaving the wounded warrior behind. The Ten of Pentacles, family, business, or community, or that dream family, heaven on earth, after a sudden event or in avoiding a disaster and being dissatisfied alone, now free to leap from the High Priestess, or perhaps a religious woman, or Scorpio reversed who's unhappy, and freeing themselves from Pisces, Virgo, an aide, or a nun. The Scorpio reversed, maybe with Aries and Pisces both upright here, and the block being the Seven of Pentacles, the Divine Feminine's heart in the E-Tower, and the Queen of Pentacles reversed, with their twin flame, Dark Knight, rising to bring her downstairs. So it's like the prince coming to rescue Rapunzel from the castle. in a rebirth here, but even more so, financial discipline and relationship change. With the Two of Cups, Lovers, and the King of Cups reversed, Fallen Angel, not blending well, with the Knight of Cups upright and the Emperor reversed and the Queen of Cups reversed, leaving while he works on himself. Perhaps losing patience or their temper, or kids, Leo, and pets out of control or sick, and the Emperor reversed abusing their power or losing control in ego death. The Knight of Cups upright surprising themselves, right? And there's a lot of Cups energy here at the end. The Knight of Cups is upright, but the King and Queen are reversed. And the Page is around here too and upright. So the kids are good there in the emotional sense, but the parents, King and Queen of Cups, are not. Along with the Emperor reversed. And the Emperor reversed can be the King of Cups, or he could be someone separate from them. Could be a father or something, or father-in-law, or a boss. And it could have Leo in his chart as well. So the Knight of Cups here is upright and surprising themselves. And this is like the Knight of Cups offering love to the Knight of Cups, like to themselves. But that can be your twin as well. But they're both in the same direction. So it's like paying it forward to themselves, right? If nobody else wants their love, to give it to yourself. Keep coming. It's like they're surprising themselves because they keep coming closer and closer and are still surprised that they're still offering love at 222, which is that room 222, the guidance counselor show, and it's 4 o'clock on my clock, which is double zeros or source, backing up the 4 of the Emperor or control, of structure, of building, of safety and security, those type of energies. But remember, the 4 is also the 4th chakra of the heart. The heart is the home. So perhaps still offering love and surprising yourself to that fallen angel who's given you no affection, or coming downstairs or repeating steps to see the shadow of the Emperor reversed, dumping a load or purging, sweating or sweating it out, or peeing or vomiting or pushed to their emotional limit. With Aries, Leo, and Sag, all 3 fire signs, all reversed. The fire put out, with the Knight of Cups upright and the King and Queen of Cups reversed, with Sag and Gemini both reversed, repeating steps, or dumping multiple loads or responsibilities, with Capricorn upright and Aries reversed, dumped on, or crying tears of joy because the Knight of Cups still loves them at 228, perhaps now when no one else will. The High Priestess and the twins. Preparing for a new life, the Page of Pentacles upright awake to the 10 of Cups reversed, and the Queen of Swords upright recovering from exile with the King of Cups reversed. Under the radar, seeking attention, as Atlas leaves the wounded warrior behind, with guidance or Taurus unable to understand, or abusive and challenged by transition or death, Dark Night, and that 10 of Pentacles, family, business, or community, or legacy of wealth, or that heaven on earth, of the Divine Feminine in the E-Tower, presenting the whole truth of the fallen angel, of losing patience or losing their temper, or Sagittarius reverse in a breakup, or a fall downstairs at 232, the High Priestess and the journey, with the Devil and the Emperor reversed, pushed to their emotional limit, recovering from exile, then with guidance of marriage counseling to start over perhaps, and the King of Cups reversed with conditions of no sex until the truth is completely known, and challenged by transition or death or endings, or Dark Night, and Scorpio of transformation at 233, the High Priestess and the Christ vibration of standing up for oneself. And perhaps with Scorpio and transformation, there's also the failure to launch here. Seeking attention from the 10 of Pentacles, family, business, or community, or addicted to their wealth, coming up from the basement to the tower to jump. And again, that could be coming up from the energy, the energy of kind of inbreeding within families, communities who, who only, they don't go outside their community to have children. So there's that kind of inbreeding energy coming up here. And there's nothing wrong with the love part of that. It's just that with genetics, it can be an issue for the children in the future, right? Because the recessive genes that are negative get activated over and over again. So again, there's this energy of coming up from the basement and going to the tower to jump, which is also an energy that came up in the movie, right? Where someone finally got discharged from the mental hospital with her parents' support. And then when her friends at the rehab broke out and came to visit her, the narcissist, right, Angelina Jolie, who played that part in the movie, was so very, wanted nothing more than to trigger her into her own death, which she did. So the challenge being, and that also is what ultimately led to her breakthrough of not being that way anymore, of actually showing her tears, which she would never have shown anyone. So coming up from the basement, and then the challenge being blocked by death and ending, or being scared of that transition, and the divine feminine's heart, the fallen, right, being afraid to feel again, right, because she had Angelina Jolie's part, she was Lisa in the movie, her heart was like completely blocked off, which is what her friend told her at the end when she exploded at her. She said, doesn't matter if you die because you're already dead. Your heart is completely closed. And then the fallen angel given the truth, who was unwilling to listen, with no affection, but loving, no stairway to heaven, only the devil in the shadow web, an unreasonable man refusing to love, or overwhelmed in ego death, or stepping down from power to hit a big hit to the ego here at 238, which is the Queen of Cups. The flame extinguished, the candle burned out. Taurus upright and challenged by Scorpio upright, which is where the North and South node are right now. So Taurus is in the North node, Scorpio is in the South node. So Taurus is being challenged by Scorpio because they're being put away. But the Sagittarius reversed in the end, where the truth is too much to take. So that's kind of referencing the movie where the Taurus and the Scorpio may have been going head to head, but it's the Sagittarius who bit the dust in the end, right? The girl who was discharged when she shouldn't have been discharged because she still needed help. At 240, which was the High Priestess and the Page of Cups, and it's making me want to cry. So that is your read. So let's pull a few oracle cards here and see what comes up for you guys. Where are we? We're already at 116. They were long today. So from the Animal Spirit deck, let's see what comes out for you guys. What is the takeaway here? Girl interrupted. So, and then fluoride is coming up too. I actually wrote a letter to my local person, from my commissioner, about the fluoride to see if they would actually respond. So we'll see what happens. I'll keep you posted on that one. Okay, what is our takeaway from this? There it is. Okay. The buffalo. And buffalo is very much that Taurus energy. They're very, very grounded, probably more grounded than anything else. But they also can be very heavenly too, right? They're not affected by much because they're just good with themselves. And then we have the zebra as well. So this could be a couple coming together. This could be a masculine and feminine energy here with the third eye completely activated over here. And then we have a childlike energy too here, or a message of love, of that sweet balance in the middle of the yellow to blue to greens of the solar plexus, the heart, and the throat chakra. That innocent, beautiful truth of the mother, father, and child. And what is the otter looking at? The otter's watching the fish out of water who's struggling with themselves, right? Because they won't move, because if they stop, they'll, they might want to kill themselves because they can't deal with their emotions or thoughts. So it's these who have already learned about all of this, and here's this sweet innocent child seeing another child who may be struggling with the same thing that they went through. So now this otter can reach out to the fish and say, hey, I felt the same way, but I'm really good now. And when you're ready, if you want, you can come hang out with me. Aw, and look, there's a unicorn on the other side too, right? So they got them on both ends there, right? It's a really beautiful energy. It was like the unicorn was kind of wrangling them in towards the otter so that they would be within in a certain range so that they would actually magnetize together. They had to bring them closer. The unicorn had to push them a little closer so they'd actually connect. That was the energy that's coming up here. That might be a message right there. And okay, and then the bottom of the deck is, and the unicorn, behind the unicorn is the collective awakening. With there's a vulture again, waiting to clean up afterwards. Everybody has a job to do. And then the bottom of the deck is the tiger, right? With their eye on the prize. The eye of the tiger. So again, and the white Bengal tiger is the tiger jumping through the ring of fire. Remember, all the fire signs are reversed in this read, though. And here's the very exhausted whale, the older person who just can't do it anymore. The energies are just too strong, and you may be falling and purging, which is okay. Perhaps you were doing a lot of clearing work, and then you got hit because you were doing so much clearing for others. But now comes in the tiger. Somebody's refreshed again, and they're raring to go. The energy of the tiger. And they're looking right at you. They're looking at me. And you notice that, so, and again, here is the underlying energy is the tiger. You notice that the tiger and the zebra are looking, are watching. It's like they're watching, right? And obviously they match because they have a lot in common with the stripes. So they're in the underlying energy, and here's the zebra over here, perhaps with 2 children, or perhaps another partner, but they're very benevolent energies here. And the tiger is seeing that energy and kind of creeping a little bit closer, very slowly. You know how a tiger comes in. They want to get a closer look to see what it really is. Is this real? Does this actually exist in relationship? And then we have the journey of love. So yeah, the unicorns with the collective awakening is definitely, along with the vultures, kind of like in partnership with the unicorn, right? Because they, like I said, they both have their duties. Literally duty, because the vulture picks up the residual, right? They're like wrangling in the fish out of water to come to these very stable energies of the buffalo, the zebra, and the otter. So this is like this is representing the children, the feminine and the masculine energies. The way they, they're really stabilized is when they're being brought people to help. Okay, maybe finding a match. I don't know. I don't know if people are on dating sites. They may be finding a match. That's a message that's randomly coming up. All right, so that could be on a house site too. You're finding a match. Or maybe you just found a match. You were looking for a match and you couldn't find one and you found one. And there's the feather just falling. Allow yourself to fall. Allow yourself out of your mind to go crazy, to lose your mind, literally. This is what it's saying. Allow yourself to become higher vibrational and light as a feather so when you fall, it doesn't hurt. The 14 of that higher love. Taking a step off the beaten path, one step at a time, right? Bending and weaving, side to side. Allowing the fall. It's all good. Don't worry, be happy. And then these two are coming up together. There's the sacred convergence again of that 9/11 memorial and the ice pop of the ETs coming up to project themselves into a presentation for us. The sacred convergence of the twin flames. And there's the 16 of some sudden happening of the heart of the moment. And they're all watching. It's like, this is the anticipation, like Rocky Horror Picture Show. The anticipation, the heart gets really excited, right? It's so red. The anticipation of seeing what's to come. And this is what was coming up in the message of the day read too. So excited to see what's actually going to come in this sacred convergence here of the 28. And I was just getting 2/8, February 8th as well. And the 16 of the heart of the moment. So what's between 2/8 and 2/16 is Valentine's Day. Oh, I didn't even realize that. The first card is 14. All right, so we have the 14 of the 14th, and that can be the 14th of January too, but it's coming up as Valentine's Day here, right? Between 2/8 and the 16th is the 14th, which is Valentine's Day. But also we're getting the 15th here, because between 14 and 16 is the 15th of the 28 and the twin flames. So there's some numbers for you. And then we have the bottom of the deck, which is the blood dance. So again, the heart. So the third card was the heart, and then we have energy around the heart again of the dance between the masculine and feminine, the pumping between the left and the right sides of the heart, the 42, the coming together in love, one-to-one, and devotion to the small, so again, the little ones, and the 32 of the journey. Devotion to those who are vulnerable, who can't take care of themselves, right? Because the adults are responsible to take care of themselves if they can. But we need to take care of the vulnerable flowers and plants and children and older people who can't take care of themselves. In the journey of the one-to-one blood dance. Being light as a feather, allowing the fall. And this is very fall energy, and then we have the winter again, because this is like the winter coming into the fall. The transition, where remember that came up yesterday, the day before, where you blend the colors when you paint, you know, so that the seam is not apparent. So it transitions seamlessly from the fall to the winter of the white, and the winter here of the ice coming in, and yet the heart still beats with anticipation and excitement. See all the white coming in? Of that pure white light, of the cleansing of the winter, in sacred convergence between the 14th and the 16th, which is the 15th, which in January is Martin Luther King's birthday and my sister's birthday. So this can reference Valentine's Day and the 15th of this month as well, because they're both very much in the winter time. But just saying, Valentine's Day comes up there for February, and the 2/8 to 2/16. And notice that instead of the 15 of the shadow, that the twin flames is coming up in place of that, the shadow, right? Because you are always each other's reflection. You're always the shadow of each other. Okay, so let's read a bit about that. The falling of 14. And the first card out is the, was that the buffalo here? Yep. So the buffalo is very earthy. Where are you, buffalo? There you are. The buffalo, it's supposed to tell you what they're between. The buffalo is between the snake and the lamb. But the snake in this deck is the collective awakening from the top. And the lamb is the target. Ah, see, they're both above the head, right? So the snake is the one where you see the collective awakening from above the awakening, as opposed to the side. And then the lamb has a target over their head. So there's something about the crown here and the buffalo. So let's see what the buffalo says. The buffalo is grounded yet heavenly, practical yet spiritual. The hooves of the mighty buffalo are grounded in the earth, yet its heart and mind rise toward heaven. The buffalo sees challenge, hardship, or a bump in the road as an opportunity for upliftment. Therefore the buffalo does not fear death, illness, or misfortune. Its gentle eyes look to the road ahead, trusting every turn. May we all experience this elusive yet life-changing bliss from time to time, and may we allow this card to remind us that life is a precious gift. When in balance, trusting in pure presence, but when they're out of balance, they're restless and lack gratitude. To bring them back into balance, they need prayer and bhakti. Okay. And then from the journey of love, we have 14 in the fall. And just opened to 2. So there's your confirmation for 214. And I remember exactly what was going on the first Valentine's Day I met my twin. So falling, don't worry. You may fear you're falling, but it's just your soul diving deeper into the ocean of bliss. Are you sensing parts of your life flying away from you, out of your control? As the momentum of your divine surrender takes over and becomes more powerful than the old adhesive between you and what no longer serves? Laugh, cry, celebrate, and ponder. Whether it makes sense or not, you are like a perfectly ripe fruit falling from the universal tree, succulent and ready to be enjoyed for all that you are. If you wait any longer, this moment will be lost and you'll end up on the ground, having to decay and go back to seed in order to start the whole process again. And this is not so bad, but what a shame if your sweet nectar was not to be savored by a hungry world. You deserve to be declared the most delicious, juicy fruit that ever was. So fall. You'll end up exactly where you're meant to be. This oracle contains a message for you. You're being called closer into divine union and into the fulfillment of your destiny now. It's safe for you to trust what's happening. Go with it. It might seem like you're being asked to take a leap of faith. It's the right timing for that. It's your time to give yourself in love without holding back anything of yourself. Is it wrong to love, to feel what I hold inside? The answer must wait. Okay. Remember, it's 1:30:30 to the union times 2. Remember your water, your sleep, your joy, and your nature. And be good to yourselves. And rise and be love. And breathe. Don't forget. See you soon.